Hey guys, I'm going to be starting a new series called The Importance of in World of Tanks. And when I first started the channel, this was actually one of the biggest things I wanted to cover and tackle with the channel. Pretty much it's going to be a handful of videos. Well, it's going to be more than a handful of videos, really. It's going to be a lot of things that I want to cover. And each video will cover an important factor to the game that I believe everyone should take into account when they're playing. I've had a lot of experience with this game. I still believe it's one of the best games out there, despite its flaws. But in any case, with this new series, I would want to share my own personal thoughts on some of the things that will essentially help you enjoy the game for what it is, as well as become a better tanker. So in the background, you'll be seeing a game of a T-54 lightweight that I had, which was actually the second or third game that I had after fully researching the tank. The last thing I researched was the gun, and my oh my, did it feel ever so good playing this tank with a decent gun. But the tips that I want to give can be applied to any tank in the tech tree, and whether it's a medium tank or a heavy tank, or it's a tier 5 or a tier 9 that you're grinding. I really feel that in general, what I'm about to kind of talk to you guys about can literally be applied to anything and any tank, but I am sure that there's some exceptions out there. Now, let's start off with the fact that by grinding a stock tank, you are essentially being an underdog in any match that you go into. The tanks were made to be played fully upgraded, and that's the goal, right? Like let's set out the goal as simple as possible. The idea is to upgrade your tanks fully so you can play them as they were meant to be played. By playing tanks stock, you are essentially lowering your statistical values, you're lowering your chance to win, and I'm sure there's tons of other reasons why playing a stock tank is not a great time for anyone. But I believe that as people kind of get into the game, as they've been playing, as they get into their 10,000 games, as they get into their 20,000 games, as they get more and more up the kind of the chain of tanks that they're grinding, I've seen way too many people just forget about grinding tanks. They just would much rather put in $30-40 into the game, pay to get the free experience, and just completely neglect a tank in a line, or maybe just upgrade all of their modules, top gun, top turret, and that's it. Now, the beef I have with that ideology of starting to play the game is that players get bored of the tank quickly, and as a result, they do not respect the tank and the tank's strengths for what they are, because they never ever felt the tank's weakness. They never embraced it. They never had to grind through those weak points and the weaknesses that the tank has. They just fully upgraded it, expect it to be as amazing as people say it is, or as they expect it and want it to be, and that's it. And you know what? I honestly believe that that's true. The tank becomes playable. The tank is not an underdog anymore because of its fully upgraded modules. And for the first 15 25 games, it's a really good tank. But like I initially said, the problem with that is that players get bored of it. They get bored. They want something new. They want to go up the line even further. Then they want to get different tanks because they've already fully experienced the tank for what it is so quickly. And especially with the introduction of blueprints that came into the game about half a year ago, It has literally never been easier in World of Tanks to grind up a tank tree line. Now, a lot of you might be against what I'm trying to say here. And I've had a lot of people and players tell me the same thing before when I try and bring up this point, because they argue that, look, if you're tier 8, you're completely stock, and you're in a tier 10 game, players argue that you are useless and that you can't do anything, you can't penetrate anyone, you're just literally a tank that's riding around with free hit points for the enemy team. And I say, no, that's not how I look at it. That's just a mindset that you bring to the game that you're playing when you're in a stock tank. I'm saying you got to change that mindset. You got to, you're not just a pinata riding around with your hit points. You're an actual tank that can fluctuate whether your team will win or lose. Try something new as a stock tank. If you're an aggressive player, teach yourself to be not so aggressive and perhaps support players and support the big boys rather than just riding out, dying, and saying, "Oh, this tank sucks." That's what I'm trying to say here with this video is that look, stock tanks suck. Period. But that doesn't mean that you as a player have to suck playing in them. Challenge yourself. Going back to the point that I made at the very beginning of the video by saying how when you're playing your tank stock, you are screwing up your statistics, you're screwing up your chance to win. And I have always had to deal with that, and that's exactly why my statistics fluctuate from purple to deep purple and even sometimes to blue. And you can say, okay, well, what are you trying to, what's your point here, RussCan? And my point that I'd like to leave you guys off with in this video is that you got to suffer in your tanks. And it's kind of silly saying to suffer because what's the point of suffering? If you're playing a video game, essentially, why would you even care to suffer if you want to jump on a world of tanks and go kick ass and have fun? And I'm saying that by learning to suffer with your stock tanks for the first 30, 40, maybe 50 games as you research your modules, you will essentially grow as a player with the tank that you are grinding. And in return, that will make you a better tanker, which as a result, as we all know, and my ideology in this game is that a better tanker you are, the better tanker you are, the better you understand how to play World of Tanks, the more fun this game becomes. Let me know what you guys think about the whole grinding process in World of Tanks. Do you agree with me? Do you not? I want to hear what you guys think. Going back to the game here with the one that you see in front. Fantastic spotting game. I did over 2,000 damage, and I got over 5,000 spotting. And that's exactly what a light tank is supposed to do. And I never had these kind of games while I was grinding the T-54 lightweight. And now that it's fully upgraded, I'm having these kind of games way more frequently. And I gotta say, the feeling is cathartic.